So Takk McKInley was released from the Atlanta Falcons. The former 2017 26th overall draft pick, quite disgruntled, learned through Twitter. That was, the world did. And they were upset about a trade. I guess either they couldn't get it done or they didn't want to trade him at the time. Now he's gone. He's going to go through waivers, and so should the Vikings be interested in him? And I think there might not be much to lose here, actually, because he's going to go through waivers, which means someone can claim him. And just for what he's done since 2018, in 2018, he had 7 sacks, 25 pressures, 10 hurries, 15 quarterback hits, 7 quarterback knockdowns, and then that production dropped to 3.5 sacks, 20 pressures, but did have one more hurry with 11, 13 quarterback hits with 5 quarterback knockdowns, and then in 2020 so far, 1 sack, 8 pressures, 1 hurry, 7 quarterback hits, and 6 quarterback knockdowns. And some would probably be wondering, why would you be interested in a guy with his production falling? Well, his production has fallen basically at the same rate that his snaps and snap percentages have fallen. In 2018, he had 618 snaps, that's 57%, 546 in 2019, 53%, and he has had 85 in 2020, good for 14% of the Falcons' actual defensive snaps. So, not too bad in terms of 1 sack, 8 pressures, 1 hurry, 7 quarterback hits, and 6 quarterback knockdowns, just for 14% of the snaps. Now, are those likely, third and long passing situations? Probably, so those might be inflated a little bit. But overall, he's been a pretty solid pass rusher given the time he's been given. And I really think this could be a worthwhile move because, as we know, Minnesota has struggled with the pass rush. And you can only do so much with hurting corners with no pass rush. And so, yeah. And this time, it wouldn't cost draft capital like a certain other defensive end that they may have traded for a couple months ago. Name slips. But, there are some that may worry about him being, a tad loud given the recent Twitter war he had with the Falcons. And you may also remember the draft night thing that was about his mother. Not his mother, his grandmother, if I remember correctly. And kind of made a big whole ordeal about it. And there might be some a little put off by it. I understand that. However, athletically, he's kind of similar to a different rusher this team had. And that is actually Everson Griffen. Griffen 6'3", Takk 6'2". Although Takk is significantly smaller in terms of weight, 273 versus 250, arm length is 32 5/8 inch for Griffen, 34 3/4 of an inch for Takk. So a little longer, hand size 10 inches for Griffen, 9 3/4 for McKinley. The 40s are exactly the same at 4.59. 10-yard split, 163 for Griff. McKinley, 1.60. The vertical, a difference of an inch, 34 inches versus 33. Broad jump, 9'7", 10'2". And then bench is kind of like with the weight. Griff kind of killed him there, 32 versus 24. So overall, this is kind of like a smaller, lighter, but a little longer thing than Griffen in some senses, because they're both super quick off the ball and they win with high motors. That's kind of what they've always done. Going back to their college days, you can see that motor, and that's always what it has been. He's just one of those guys. So, just thinking, seems like this might be worth the risk, because you're likely going to need another edge player after this season anyway, opposite Danielle Hunter, who I know there was that report that came out when he was out for the season. Was it Rappaport or Schefter? I forget which one. That said something about him becoming the highest paid defender or traded. I don't really know where that came from. And I'm not thinking he's really traded. But I'm thinking regardless, you're going to need another edge player. And I see no reason why not to take a flyer on a player that's similar to a different one that you were able to tame before and transform into apparently a good, not great player. And, you know, used to have one. Why not try this? And doesn't hurt to actually try to find that replacement now. Unless you really, really, really have faith Ifeadi Odenigbo or DJ Wanham are really going to take that next step over the course of this back half of the season. I'm not entirely confident either will. So, yeah, to me, that just feels like they've certainly made worse moves, and one of those being that other defensive end that they traded for, who they traded a 2 for and ended up trading away for a 3. But they've certainly made worse moves, and I think this might actually become worthwhile, potentially. Do you marry yourself to the idea that you must give McKInley a contract extension? Not at all. But do you give him a chance to prove himself and see if you can develop him in the same way that they have developed Everson Griffin, Danielle Hunter, even Ifeadi Odenigbo to a degree, and you never know. I would like to know your guys' comments down below. Like and subscribing, super helpful. And until next time, I bid y'all adieu.